Sorry, guys. Really, this is crazy. This now these cell phones they put a lot of um, ads and then they stop the live videos. You are using your cell phone. So let me start again. Well, I'm Edgar Fernandez, the founder of Sufficient Limited and the creator of the engineering experiential knowledge solutions that helps the industry, the manufacturing industry, to reduce incidents, the recordable incident rate below zero point 0.5 by optimizing understanding and the ideas, the skills, and experiences of your workers. And also, we can help you to reduce cost, performance, and increase performance and production by using the same methodology as well. So let me answer the last four questions of the questionnaire from the Chemical Safety Board. That they want to know better. They want to have a sense that what is the current state of combustible dust knowledge and procedures in the industries. So the last question, okay, I want to start the last four questions is what are some challenges to maintain effective dust collection system? Like I was saying, its maintenance could be one, its design is the second one, and dust and housekeeping is another one. Um, so why design? Because sometimes so you need to have your it's imperative actually. You need to have your dust data analysis. If not, you cannot design anything. Also, you change something on the process, and now the dust collector is small according to the changes of the process. That's one of the biggest challenge actually. Once you change the process, another one actually is once you change the powder from one vendor to another vendor for a reason, the properties change, and then now suddenly you are out of out of the specifications. Now your dust collector won't work, or is not designed according to the new dust or the new combustible powder that or dust that you are generated or you have in place. And it has happened many times to me. Like, yeah, and then suddenly, boom, the dust collector is small. Why? We changed the powder. What happened? Well, now we are buying the combustible powder from a different vendor, and then properties change. Happens, and now your operation becomes bigger, and now the dust collector is small. So I think that is the biggest challenges, and now you need to consult the company who the manufacturer who made that dust collector, called the engineers, and then they're gonna tell you exactly what you need to do in a specific case that you need to change the dust collector, or you need to I don't know, you need to do something with the existing dust collector to be in compliance, and not and have and be in accord and have that one according to your combustible the parameters of the combustible dust. That's one of the biggest ones that I'm seeing. Maintenance and cleaning is another one for sure. Um, Next one. How common are dust fires in the workplace that do not result in an explosion? Um, I would say I need to be very careful how I answer this question, because I don't want to. You understand? I don't want to say something that is incorrectly. I would say this: if you have a flash fire, it needs to be reported and needs to be investigated. Simple like that. And if there you had you have for a reason you cannot, for a reason it's not reported and it's not investigated, so now it's a problem. For sure, it's a problem. That's the right way to call it. And the next question says, does this create a failed sense of security? Absolutely. Will nothing happen? See you later. But in my experience, happens. So I would say they are not very common. I would say that the most common thing, because we need to go way behind of this question. So it's okay. Why you are having a flash fire first in the first instance? I don't need to know if that is common or not to have a flash fire and doesn't result in an explosion. And the thing I need to know is why we are having a flash fire, and could be a combination of many things. One is for sure you don't know that was combustible. Second, obviously, you don't have the combustible dust analysis. Third, and you don't know what is a combustible powder. That is very, very common issue, not knowing what is by definition, and I'm not telling you an NFPA definition, what is a combustible dust or a combustible powder. I have I have listened to many answers like if they because they don't have a flammable liquid, it's not a combustible. Well, you are talking about flammable liquids that is different than a combustible powder. But I have heard, I have listened to those type of answers. So before going to what is common or not, I think is the lack of knowledge of what is a combustible powder. First, do you have a combustible powder? Have you have the data that is combustible or not? You have the suspicious. You are suspicious, or you suspect that there is a combustible powder. How do you know that? Have you read the MSDS of that product? The MSDS is not gonna give you the parameters, but it's gonna give you a very brief idea of what you are handling, or what you have in your house, what is in your facility. So that should be my answer. How common? I don't know. With a 106 incidents since 2006, I would say it's very common based on the data. That's it. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not using it, but based on the data, 106 incidents since 2006 is telling me that they are very common, and they haven't been reported. And I would say I haven't been reported to a federal jurisdiction. No, like reported inside of the company, right, to do the investigation and to come up with action items to prevent flash fires. Process hazard analysis. You need to first, before the process hazard analysis, you need to see what's going on in your process, and then conduct the process hazard analysis. So before, that's the way that I'm answering this question. How common? In base of the 106 incidents, I would say is common, but only on the number that the chemical safety board is providing. But if I haven't had that number, I would say I don't know how common it is in the industry. But to know what is very common is the lack of knowledge of combustible dust, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm 100% positive on that. Next question: are workers empowered to report issues when they feel something need to change with regards to the dust accumulation? But it's the same answer. So it should be part of your training, and obviously and then use your incident report system, like when they see that it's accumulation, report it as a hazard, and then go and as an engineer, as a process safety engineer, and evaluate how much is being accumulated, and then proceed to the cleaning, either a reachable area or not. And you need a professional. You need to call the professionals to clean that, because they have the equipment as well. And but it's on a floor level and reachable areas. You should have the right equipment to eliminate those accumulation, and should be part of the procedure and pass your process hazard analysis. That should be my answer for that. What processes are in place to make these concerns known? Like I said, the incident reporting. Last question: how can combustible dust operators, industry standards, organization, and regulators better share information to prevent the future incident? That's an excellent question. I would say it's promoting more, obviously, hazard and risk assessment, hazard and risk identification. And on the PSM program, you establish a PSM program, you should see who needs to be trained on these topics, on combustible dust. And I would say you are a PSM covered process plant facility, and according to the numbers that the chemical safety risk provided in the 106 incidents, I would say include the plant manager as well on a basic level, I would say, because everybody needs to be trained. Second, the industry standard organizations. Well, you have the society, the SFPE, you have NFPA. They provide courses as well, and actually they have forums as well that when they can share that information. Also, there are groups like the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, so they have this safety beacon every month. So they share incidents around the globe that you can read them, and actually you can implement some of the measures in your facility as well if applicable, right? Um, and then regulators the same, asking the industry what type of help they need, and if they need training, offer that type of training in a very affordable cost, and launch it, right? And then that's the I think is the thing to prevent a flash fire on combustible dust. And concluding all these questions with these three videos, I think the biggest contributor of flash fire, we go since the beginning, is one is lack of knowledge for sure, and the lack of knowledge generates like you don't have your combustible dust analysis. You don't perform the analysis that you should perform in a certain parameters that are applicable to you. The training is another thing. You haven't developed a training program. Your procedures, operational procedures, your engineering measures as well, and maintenance as well. So there is a combination of many things that needs to be analyzed, and that is called process safety information and mechanical integrity manuals as well. They're going to help you to assess all of these in conjunction with the process hazard analysis. And one of the things, actually, it's reading. Now many manufacturers, they generate bulletins, they generate PDF files to educate more people outside our clients in regarding on combustible powders and their equipment as well. So you can ask them every time, and that's would be my answer. From the regulators, especially from the OSHA and standards from the NAPA, and they can provide. There are some aspects that are the standards, for example, on the 654. I remember I didn't understand very well, and then I couldn't find clarification on that. Like, for example, they have the NFPA 33, they have a book of explanation on interpretation. It should be the same for the NFPA 654, have a special book for interpretation on that. And like I said, offer courses, and as not us as engineers subscribe to your sites for the e-letters, e-newsletters, and see what you have. And the same with the industry standard organizations, and that's the thing, is to share that information, and obviously communicate all the incidents that happen around the globe to learn the lessons, and apply or implement the things that are applicable to our operations. That's the thing I would do as a combustible dust operator, or to collaborate or to interact with the government and with the standard organizations as well. And why not? Why not to create a program, a training program between companies and the regulators, to help other industries, other companies to have a better information, a better knowledge on this topic. I don't see anything against that, and I think we need to collaborate more. Sometimes when we talk, we are, especially as an engineers, we behave as like a school, right? Like, oh, this is my information. Really is not. It's something that we need to share with. Obviously, I understand the confidentiality as well, but for sure we need to share more information to prevent that. Because what is the reason why you have a good information and you don't share it? I mean, that's a useless information, to be honest with you. So share it, and somebody's gonna get the benefit of that, and then we can go from there. Okay, guys, so that's the end of this video. These responses that were submitted on November 26, 2019. And it's very important, actually, now answering with the last question. It's very important to answer. I understand the confidentiality of the companies, but there is nothing wrong to answer these type of questions at all, in a general manner, to help the Chemical Safety Board and other regulators to feel what is the current state of fugitive combustible dust or combustible powders as well. It's something that we need to have. Unfortunately, on the last surveys that they want to do, not many not many companies that answer, and that is something that we need to do, to help everybody, including us as well. Okay, guys. Hopefully, these 3 videos help you to assess, or at least to make you think what you have inside of your facility, and prevent flash fires due to combustible powders. Really, do you know that you have combustible powders? Do you know that raw material is a combustible powder? How you can know? See well, there are many ways to know it. Hopefully this helped you. Don't hesitate to send me a comment or a question, and I will be happy to help you. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day. Bye.